What's up, guys? So this is going to be my Despia profile. So yeah, obviously I hadn't been playing a lot last format. Finally came back to locals. Got to play Despia, which in terms of thematics right now, it's probably my second favorite deck after obviously Dark World. Well, third favorite maybe after Dark Lords as well. I'm having a bit of a fight with Dark Lords right now, but yeah, and yeah, I did quite well. I went 5-0. Now I will say it was a lot of rogues. So round 1 I was against Gold Pride. Round 2 I was against what was I against? Scareclaw. Round 3 I was against Sword Soul. Round 4 I was against Sprite. Round 5 I was against Madolce. And I would say that like this deck just dumps as rogue. Now I did build my deck for Kashtira because that what I thought was the deck to beat, but just at locals a lot of people are not going to be willing to invest in Kashtira, so I ended up not playing the only Kashtira player that was there. But yeah, the deck did really perform well. Now there are a few changes I would make. I think like I said, I haven't really played much or tested this as much as I would like to, and I'll go through them as the profile's going. So in terms of the Despias, obviously played 3 Aluba, Tragedy, and Adlib. So Aluba's really good, obviously, like your main starter, and his floating effect is awesome. Tragedy and Adlib, I've gone back and forth a lot, and I'd probably say I might remove Tragedy. I think Tragedy doesn't necessarily need to be there. Adlib is really, really good just because of his synergy with Mirror Jade and because Kashtira is in the format. The combination of those two just mean that this card is going to be useful. Even though he doesn't come up every game, when he does come up, he will win you the game by himself just because the ability to bring back a Mirror Jade or anything is just insane. Like, it's just such huge value. And he's also just a nice card to discard. And then having a card like Cartesia also makes him awesome because obviously because you have Cartesia, these cards are a lot less bricky. So before, obviously, you need to see a poly or something, but as long as you do Cartesia, these cards aren't bricks anymore. So yeah, definitely think Adlib's great. Dramaturge is okay. The problem with Dramaturge, and I'd say the reason why he's not as good as Adlib, I can't remember his exact wording, but I think it's something along the lines of he needs to be used as fusion material from hand on field only or something. I don't know. His fusion requirements are slightly stricter than Adlib, I think, or something along those lines, which is why I didn't like him. That's why I didn't play him, but I can see a world actually where I play Adlib at Dramaturge instead of Tragedy, because while Tragedy is okay, you just want bodies in this format, to be honest. A lot of decks just lose to having a bunch of bodies on board, and Despia is quite good at doing that. So yeah, moving on from those, 3 Albaz, and then another honorary Albaz, and then 2 Cartesia. So 3 Albaz now is just a lot better. You get ashed a lot in this format, and having that, and because of Cartesia as well, it's nice because if you have Albaz and Cartesia, you still have access to your Mirror Jade, and you basically can start your engine, which is great. And so because of that, you just always want to see him. He's also nice at the end of trying to break an opponent's board. You use this as the last thing to go into Mirror Jades and stuff, which is just awesome, especially because you can bring him off fusion deployment. So this card's just amazing. Yeah, definitely want to see it at 3, I think. And then also Kashtira, that's another reason. This is another ordinary Arbaz. His dump effect is insane. He's just upstart. I could see a world where I played this at 2, to be honest. He's just a really, really good card. And then Cartesia, this is the other card that's amazing. This card has made Branded so much better because now they don't just lose to a loop being stopped. This card plus having extra Albazes and stuff in your deck just mean that you can do fusion plays that aren't just kind of the standard Branded fusion lines. Like, you don't lose to that getting stopped. Her recursion effect is insane. The fact that she's got a fusion that lets her be in sub and off fusion deployment, that's insane. I mean, everything about this card is just so good. I'd play 3 if I had the cash, but I don't want to drop another 30 quid on another one of her. Then Bestials, so I played 7 Bestials, so this was my Bestial lineup. Was this 7 or was this 8? I think this is 8. But yeah, so Bestials, I wouldn't play this many. I think it was bad. Once Lubellion did save me just because Branded Beast, but even then I wouldn't play Beast in the future. Like, left to me, I think I'd probably play this in the future, at most this. I can't see myself going more than that because you just don't need Bestials this format. You play into tactics, you play into talents, you play into thrust and talents, and then on top of that as well, they just require too many things to go off. They're actually bricks in your hand a lot of the time as well. Like, they don't do anything. It's a body on board. Like, it was nice last format to fight against 2 elements, but beyond that, you're not doing anything. You're not really stopping anyone's combo, so I just don't think they're worth it. I'd rather have actual hand traps or actual combo pieces rather than kind of pseudo combo pieces. Saranir is good enough that I would always say at least one of him just because of his dump. And Lubellion is okay because obviously he grabs the Saranir. Magnum is just an efficiency thing where it's like, okay, you've got these 2. Sometimes you would have dumped him already, so now you have another good one to search that can recur from Grave. But even then, I don't think play Bestials at all, or at most play just these 2. They're just not really worth it moving forward. in my opinion. If you want to play them, play them. I just wouldn't. And then the Tri Brigades, or yeah, so played 2 Mercurial, 1 Kit. This was definitely completely wrong. So Kit was okay. The biggest thing about her that made her really unfair for me was post side. I would use her alongside Expulsion. So I'd use this to recur Expulsion, which was just insane. Like, if my opponent, like, if essentially all game 3s, I would revive the Gimmick Puppet like 2 or 3 times, because I would keep putting the Expulsion back with Retribution and then with Kit, which is just insane. I played 2 Mercurial because of the new combo, but the new combo lines are terrible. Don't play them, in my opinion. Or not terrible, but they're not amazing, and I don't think right now is the format for them. Fundamentally speaking, if your Brand of Fusion resolves, you should be winning that game. And the new combos just make your Brand of Fusion combo a bit better. They don't do anything other than that. And so my problem with them is that I'm losing to the same things, but I have to do a longer combo line, play more bricks and all this stuff. It's just not worth it. Now, this card is great. It is nice in hand to play around Nib and stuff, but even with that, there are other ways to play around Nib, like summoning Queritus. So I just don't like this card. I don't think play 2, or as in not I don't like this card, but I don't like this card at 2, and I think playing it at 1 even isn't that necessary. You could get away with not playing it at 1 and your deck could probably be fine. But yeah, that was the monsters. Then moving on to the spells. So obviously we start for free Fusion Deployment. Fusion Deployment was amazing. Yeah, this card's great. This is a new amazing card. I recently saw a tech that someone did at the 3v3, like using this with Aqua Dolphin, for example, so you can search your opponent's hand. Like, that's another amazing tech for this. But this card was just amazing. Every time I see it, like, just so much versatility in summoning either the Cartesia or the Albaz is amazing. And obviously this means that your Aluba gets protected a lot more, because if you see this in Aluba, you're protected from Imperm, basically, unless they have 2 Imperms, or Imperm and Vela and Ash. Then it's like, okay, they had 3 hand traps. Like, I don't play around 3 hand traps. That's just silly to play around. So yeah, Fusion Deployment's amazing. Free Branded Opening, yeah, not much to say about that. The card's very, very good. And free Branded Fusion, again, not much to say about it. This card's just, if you resolve this, you usually win. But what's nice, like I said now again, is having Cartesia means that if you don't resolve that, you still probably win, just because Cartesia lets you still get into that engine, but just less efficiently. I played 2 High Spirits. Now, because I was playing so many Sarania, I wanted to stay at 40, so this is a 40 card list. Because I was playing so many Sarania, and this card is so good with Sarania in terms of letting you get to Branded Fusion or other spells about your normal summon, that's why I played this, and it was good for that. However, almost every side, I was siding out these 2, along with a bunch of the Bestials, because it's just not that good going second. You don't want to neg that much from your hand. The recursion effect is kind of cool as well. But I would say like I would say like I don't think the Bestials are worth playing, and so I don't think this is worth playing. Cartesia is another target. I have loads of targets for this. The Tri Brigades are also card targets, but you just don't really want to be using this that much, in my opinion. There's better cards to play. Then more branded spells, so played Branded in White, Branded Lost, Branded in Red. Branded in White, don't play it because it's just part of the new combo. It's not a bad card, but I just don't think play it. There's better cards to play. Like, I'd rather play Banishment than this, because Banishment does a similar thing, but it's just a better card. Lost is OP, you definitely have to play that. I would even play that at 2 potentially. I saw 3 stacks do that, and I think there's rationale I can see behind playing 2 of Lost, because it's just so amazing. Like, what's nice about Lost as well is that if I put Lost on the field, it does 2 things. Firstly, it reveals if my opponent has Ash or not, because if my opponent doesn't have Ash, then if my opponent has Ash, then they a lot of time won't respond to this, which will inform what my next move is. But if they don't have Ash, then they always have to respond to this, or they're probably going to lose, because then Brand of Fusion starts resolving and your opponent can't respond. And like, what's nice as well is obviously the chain that you summon the Mirror Jade, you can activate Mirror Jade's effect, they can't respond to that, which means that you get a free Mirror Jade banish that they can't do anything about, which is lovely. So yeah, this card's amazing, and it searches, like, everything about this card is insane. Brandon Red, this card was amazing alongside Guardian Chimera, just did too much work today, so yeah, really, really liked it. Then I played 3 Super Poly, 1 Gold Sark, 1 Foolish. Not Foolish, sorry, 1 Cool Buy. So this is because of Ash. At first I wasn't playing Cool Buy because I don't like relying on a one-off to deal with Ash, but it's just, you lose so hard to it that you need it. Gold Sark is good. I didn't play Foolish Burial because of Kashtira. Again, I thought there'll be loads of Kashtira, and obviously you can't activate it under, or you can, but actually, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just a bad player. I don't think you can activate Foolish Burial under Shifter and stuff like that. If you can, then I'm just a bad player and I should play it. And then 3 Super Poly. Super Poly was good, but I would say that I'd rather have Eclipse in the main, because almost everything that Super Poly outs, Eclipse outs. The only board that I'd say Super Poly is better at than Eclipse is the Sprite board, because they often will have hard negates. So in that matchup, Super Poly is quite good, especially because Sprite won't have hard negates, and then Super Poly, their board would be over the last card. But other than that, I would say Eclipse is probably better in this format. And so I'd go with Eclipse moving forward. And then for the traps, played Banishment, Retribution, and Beast. So yeah, this is bad, don't play it. Just, yeah, Beast is bad, don't play it. Retribution is great. Very, very good card, obviously. This card comes up a lot. And now that I'm playing 3 Albaz as well, I'm not even upset if it's in my hand. It's also, its on-field effect came up once or twice. So yeah, it's just a good all-around card, to be honest. The recursion is amazing. And Banishment, so yeah, this card's very, very good. Just the ability to super poly and wreck people's boards is amazing. And like having this card now in a format where there's less Bestials means that it will resolve most of the time. Like that's the biggest thing that Brandon was having trouble with last format, obviously, is that a lot of the times your stuff gets cut out of the graveyard because of Shizu cards and Bestials, but that doesn't really happen anymore, which is great. But yeah, then moving on. So extra deck played Guardian Chimera. This card was amazing. I think that moving forward, this needs to be in your builds. I also feel like this card makes me want to play the Patchwork engine just because of how amazing it is. And the fact that if this couldn't be targeted, that's the only way I think this would have been even better than it was. So yeah, this card's just very, very good. I think it should be in your builds. Out so many boards. And also its attack, 3300. That's another thing that's nice as well, because obviously the Castera board, a lot of the times that's the attack that a Rise Heart's going to have, because they'll have 3 different attributes, and so they have 3 different attributes between them. So they'll have 2 attributes by themselves, and then they'll have another one for you. So I like the fact that this is big enough a lot of times to beat over a Rise Heart. And just other things. Mirror Jade, because it's OP, yeah, beats everything. Unfortunately, you have to play 2 of everything right now. Or you have to play 2 of all the important cards. Otherwise, you lose to Kashtira for free sometimes. So that's why I'm playing 2. Otherwise, I'd probably play 1 Lubellion here. That would probably be the big change if Kashtira wasn't in the format. But yeah, these are all good, to be honest. Just, yeah, not really much to say about them. So Grand Gorgonol, I played 2 Grand Gorgonol and 1 Rimbrum. So yeah, these fusions, again, they're just baits, to be honest. The problem with this one is that his effect on board is just trash, because it doesn't practically stop any deck at the moment. Like just having a random negate and bounce, it just doesn't. Which means that the times when he's most useful is to negate your own effect and then bounce something. But that's just too neggy, it's not worth it. His graveyard effect is good, but often you don't have Albaz's left in your graveyard at the end of your combo. This one, again, the best thing about this card is that it gets Cartesia out to summon other stuff, but this card's not good because the Despia fusions you summon aren't that good, so it just makes it not that amazing. And then the Send is nice, though. The Send is nice. The Send allows you to get your Gimmick Puppet effects off, but yeah, I play 1/1. If Castira decides to banish it, I don't care. Like, I never did the new combo. Like, I didn't do it once because it's just not worth it. There's never a situation where I felt like I need to overextend like that to make a marginally better board. Because you have to remember as well, like, and I'm sorry I'm going on a tirade, but I just want to make it really clear to people. The new combo basically ends on this Mirror Jade. But the problem with this combo, for example, is this is not doing anything, because this basically is either Prosecinian or Quaratus. But these cards aren't relevant. They don't do anything. They're very defensive cards. They don't actively interrupt your opponent. This only affects your opponent if they manage to start comboing. But against Kashtira, you want to get rid of their first monster, because if they start comboing, this isn't enough to stop their combos. Same against Sprite. This is enough. Against Sprite, they're going to sprint, you negate and bounce, and then if they have any other level 2, they just full combo, and now you've lost. Mirror Jade was already there. You already would have Mirror Jade as part of your regular combo. And so that's my problem with this end board. Like, you're doing a whole lot more stuff to end on a board that's actually not that much better, especially against the relevant threats right now. And so yeah, that's why I wouldn't play. I'd play them, but as in I wouldn't do those new combos. And so yeah, Prosecinian and Quaratus, they're not bad cards, but they're just not amazing, and so I don't want to invest hugely into them. It's nice that Grand Gorgonol can bring them up, but most of the times as well, I prefer to super poly for this. Like, I'd say that's actually the best thing about this, using Lubellion to recycle a lot of cards from the grave by making this, or super polying for this. Those 2 effects are amazing. Quaratus, the main strength of Quaratus is it lets you play around Nib, because obviously if your opponent nibs you, you can summon Fallen of Albaz. If you have a card in hand, discard it, make Albion, and then still go back into Mirror Jade. And I did that against the Soul player to OTK them. So that's where I think Quaratus is actually strong. Like, if I feel threatened and I feel like my opponent's going to nib, or if I have a Cartesia on board and I haven't made anything yet with it because I think my opponent's going to nib, I'll quickly link to Quaratus, let them get this off the board, make Albion, then yeah, carry on comboing off. So Quaratus is good, but again, it's a defensive card, not offensive card. Dragspelli is amazing. I've actually played 2 of that. This format, this is the best fusion in the game, because it beats everything. You put this on most of the decks in the format right now. Sword Soul, Sprite, Kashtira, you want them to keep their cards on board. You don't want them to have an empty board, because they'll do something stupid with an empty board, like Cashier will just keep summoning, for example, or Sultan will just start doing 10-y stuff. So you want them to have a card on board, but you don't want it to do anything, and that's what this does. And then obviously making it level 1 as well screws up a lot of decks plays. So yeah, this card's amazing. I'd definitely play 2 of it if I could. This card as well single-handedly makes me want to play the Tier Element version of Branded instead, because in that version it's very easy to bring this out and recycle. And so yeah, that makes me want to play Branded Tier just because of that. And then these 2 Super Poly targets, they were very good, I will admit, in terms of Super Poly targets. They both came up quite a few times. But yeah, that was the main deck. So 40 main deck. I was trying to stay consistent. I do see the reasoning of having a higher than 40 card main deck with Branded, because you do have a lot of ways to get to combo. But again, I just like kind of basic deck principles. Stick to 40, hopefully it's consistent. Extract, I played these 2. They're bad. Don't play them. I sad them in once or twice, but the reason I played them is because I just had them and I couldn't bother to figure out where my lava golems are. But yeah, it's not that good. Played 1 Lightning Storm, 3 Evenly, 1 Talents, and 2 Thrust. So Thrust amazing. I only have 2 right now, otherwise I'd play 3, and then I'd play only 2 Evenly. But yeah, this is just kind of my new package. So my new package will basically be like this, but 3 Thrust instead. And yeah, it's just very good. Maybe 1 Change Apart as well. And it's just very, very good. Like, Thrust is just so OP into everything going second. The only reason I don't main deck it is just purely not enough space. Branded is such a fat deck going first that it's difficult to main deck 3 Thrust and stay under 40. But yeah, can't really say anything about it. Everything came up through Thrust, which is nice. And just having that option is great. Then I also played 3 Book of Eclipse as well. Almost dropped my cards there. So yeah, I played 3 Book of Eclipse. Yeah, this is for Kashtira, but it just never came up because I never played Kashtira, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, not much to say about that. If I would replace Super Poly for this if I was in a more meta tournament. And then the Expulsion Lock. So I used to play Raz Disciple, but I switched to Gimmick Popper Nightmare on advice from my friends. And yeah, I think this is a lot better. One of the nice things about this obviously is that it's a lingering effect, and so your opponent's only way of dealing with it is like having, I don't know, Forbidden Chalice or something, or like being able to interrupt your graveyard. But what's great about this as well, it's very easy to play around Bestials with this. So when I was doing this, I was always only ending on 1 fusion monster. Just 1 monster on the board, 1 fusion monster. And so when I activate Expulsion, tribute that monster, my opponent can't Bestial me now, which means they need to specifically have a hand trap like a DD Crow or Cool Buy or something, or a Bell, which no one has at the moment. But yeah, when this resolved, you won. Now, the disadvantage of this compared to Ra is, what's nice about Ra is that on your turn, you're protected as well, because your opponent can't Bestial and stuff. So it's nice to make Ra, and then like on your turn, you can just go crazy with your combos and definitely kill them. Whereas there was once where I wasn't able to immediately kill my opponent. But because I'm playing Kit and stuff like that, it's very easy to summon this again. So the time when I couldn't kill my opponent, I just put Expulsion back on my field and then did it again. So they couldn't win anyway. But yeah, that's the deck. So yeah, I think Branded is really, really good right now. Now again, full disclaimer, like I said, my build does need some work. I think it put in the performance because I was against slightly weaker decks, and also because it is just a good deck, and I think I did pilot it well. But definitely there are some changes I'll make, and I will be sure to have another profile up for you guys soon. I don't know. We'll see. If I go to locals this week, I'll definitely have a more streamlined profile up, because I've definitely seen some things from that 3v3 YCS which improved this deck a lot, and I think would be good to include. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.